What's up, everyone? Another episode of Shoe Booty Sports coming at you Tuesday night, February 14th, Valentine's Day edition. We got nothing sexy, worn for you all other than just these pretty faces. But that's all I'm wearing that's sexy tonight. Brad as well. This is your host, Grandpa, co host Bradley Brown. Say what's up, Brad.
What's happening?
Lot to talk about. Pretty much going to be a Super Bowl episode here on Valentine's Day. A lot went on there to discuss. We'll recap that and more. First, quick shout out to our sponsor, Rhino Races. Here's the T-shirt, by the way. Put the camera down a little bit for you. Oh yeah, that's what's up. Rhino Races is a virtual race series that offers 5 different races: a 5K, 10K, half marathon, a marathon, and the Rhino Ultra. How it works is you sign up for one or all 5 of their races at rhinoraces.com. Run your race at your convenience. Track your race with your fitness app of choice. Screenshot your results. Once those results are verified by Rhino Races staff, after you submit those results at rhinoraces.com, of course, under the submit results section. Once those results are verified by staff, your award will be shipped to you by mail. Free shipping on all orders. Again, check out rhinoraces.com, the premier virtual running series. They also have a gear section for t-shirts like this one here, wristbands, decals, and more. Again, rhinoraces.com. Sign up today. Rhino Races is the premier virtual running series. Put the camera back there. Also, you can find us on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts, the Wisdom app. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter at Shoe Booty Sports. Okay, so great game for the most part up until the very end. Let's just get right to it. Let's not beat around the bush. You could have argued it was the Super Bowl, best Super Bowl ever, at least that I've seen. At least it was right up there in the conversation.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty good.
we got cheated essentially out of an ending, I felt like. Was it? I don't know. You got referees going on there saying it's a penalty. Bradbury even said it was a penalty. That might have even just been like almost the politically correct thing to say. I mean, I'm sure he tugged him, right?
Yeah,
But was it enough of a tug to throw the flag in that spot? No. In my
no.
opinion, no. It ruined it for me. Completely ruined it. I was pissed off for 2 hours after the game. I was like, I didn't care who won. I was perfectly okay with the Chiefs winning. I just didn't want them to win it like that. That
Yeah,
was my biggest gripe. I felt robbed of an all-time classic. It was an all-time classic of a game that was ruined, ruined with the flag there at the end. And a lot ESPN, like the coverage there, nobody said anything about it on Fox after the game. Wasn't even mentioned, which I kind of get it. You got Mahomes there and Reed and Kelsey and them all, celebrating. It's a bit of an awkward thing to bring up there. And it didn't decide it decided the game, but it didn't. I mean, the Chiefs would have gone up 3,
yeah,
but the Eagles would have. Everybody's saying they'd have gotten the ball back with 80 seconds left. It was almost 2 minutes on the clock. It was almost
yeah,
2 minutes on the clock when they would have kicked that field goal. Probably would have gotten it about a minute 40, minute 45, which the way they were scoring, that could have gotten them in field goal range.
yeah. Could have very well went to overtime.
Like, at least let us see. Like, at least let us see what happens. Let them play it out.
Yeah,
To throw an if to call to make a iffy ticky tack call like that in that moment. And here's the thing: you want consistency as a player, right? You didn't call defensive holding the entire game, and you did it in
no,
that spot. It's one thing if you were calling that in the first quarter, so the players are like, okay, this is getting called. That wasn't the case. They were letting them play up until the very end, and then you throw that flag. It wasn't like Ohio State Miami 2002 national championship game robbery, because that was just a full on robbery. That completely changed the outcome of the game. This decided the game. Like, this essentially put the nail in the coffin. Game over. Instead of an exciting what's Jalen Hurts going to do, because
yeah,
apart from the fumble, Jalen Hurts was phenomenal. He was excellent. He was making throws that throw to Goddard on the sideline that he somehow got just over that one defender and just I mean, it was in the perfect spot. And here's another thing on the officiating. Like it was odd. I mean, Kansas City has gotten so many breaks this postseason. And I'm not a conspiracy guy, but it's like, man, they're making points. Like they're making good points. I mean, the Cincinnati game, one thing, getting 5 downs, various other things. The Devontae Smith, what I thought was a catch, right before the half, that could have led to 7 points instead of 3. At the least, at worst, it was called a catch on the field, and there wasn't enough to overturn it. Like, how did you find enough to overturn that? What were you looking at that we weren't? I didn't see anything there that said you could overturn that catch. You know what I'm
So
talking about?
yeah, with the ball moving, you could see it move once he hit the ground. But I
It
get
was
it.
under him. The ball was under him though.
I get it. Yeah, it was. I could see it being called either way. But yeah,
I
with them
thought
already calling it on a catch on the field, yeah. Usually they stick with the call if it's that close.
I did not see anything enough there to overturn it. I thought it was a catch anyway. That's been a catch for 100 years. And replay. This is my one knock on replay. Replay gets it right pretty much every time, except we've essentially redefined what a catch is thanks to instant replay. Like
Yeah.
that's been a catch for 100 years, and then now all of a sudden it's not. That's my only gripe as far as that goes. That's another break to me that the Chiefs got, but I mean that's just stuff that happened. I mean the Chiefs could have very well won it anyway. I was sick at the ending. I was sick at the ending, and it shouldn't define the game necessarily, but it should obviously be talked about. And that's one thing you don't want to happen if you're an official. You don't want the subject of the game. You don't want to be talked about in that game. That's your goal as an official. And it's a major topic of discussion as it should be. To me, it hasn't been talked about enough. But regardless, Chiefs win. Mahomes MVP definitely deserved it. And like just going back to the end of the half, which I felt Philly essentially dominated in so many ways. They still didn't really run. They didn't run the ball. They didn't get anything outside of Jalen Hurts in the run game, other than just keeping Kansas City off balance. I mean, so you could say it counted for that. But going up only 10 at half, like I thought, like it felt like it should have been more. It felt like
Yeah.
it should have been a 2 possession game, or or it could have been 24-7. Of course, the fumble.
Yeah, fumble, yeah. Fumble changed up a lot of things.
Fumble, scoop, and score. I mean, that essentially, I mean, that's been I mean, Troy Aikman said it on the Dan Patrick show, I think yesterday. Jimmy Johnson used to say it's not this isn't verbatim, but this is the message. It's not about the plays you make. It's not about the more plays you make. It's the team that makes less mistakes. Doesn't give up big plays, or
Mhm.
just doesn't make those kind of mistakes. Whoever makes the most mistakes, that's often going to decide the game, and that's essentially what happened. It was a pretty clean game up until that point, but it was yeah. Apart from that, though, Jalen Hurts. If there were any doubters, I think Patrick Mahomes kind of said it best in the presser. If
Yeah.
there were any doubters, there shouldn't be any. Shouldn't be any more now.
Yeah, he played lights out.
I mean, and so did Mahomes, but just the throws Jalen Hurts was making. It's like wow, you're like you didn't. It's amazing to see him throwing the football like freshman or whenever he started first year at Alabama. I don't remember if he was a freshman or sophomore or what. So many throws
I think
high,
he's a freshman.
behind, low. I think you're right. He was nothing of the passer that we see now. I did not see anything close to an NFL quarterback back then.
No,
It wasn't
you seen
until
a guy who was good on his feet.
it wasn't
He
until
could
he
outrun
yeah,
everybody.
it wasn't until he got to Oklahoma that I was like, okay, I could see him actually like being on an NFL roster. Never saw him as a Super Bowl quarterback. But wow, I mean, he just keeps getting better. Part of me was pulling again, didn't care who won at the end of the day. Just hated to see it end like that, especially after such a great game. But yeah, it's I don't know, man. Like just to see him progress like he has, I completely lost where I was going with that completely. But yeah, Jalen Hurts did not see him being this caliber quarterback at this level. Pretty impressive stuff by him.
No. So what were your feelings going into halftime after you seen Mahomes kind of limp off the field and give the ball back to the Eagles? And then do you think Mahomes is going to come out limping or showing any injury, or do you think he's going to come out and do what he did?
No, I figured he would. He'd have all the whole half. You know, I mean, it's like a 30-minute halftime with the Super Bowl halftime show and everything. They were gonna just immediately start working on him. I didn't think it would be much of a factor, to be honest.
Yeah,
And
I figured they were going to take him back there and shoot him up with something where he couldn't even feel his lower half of his body. He was just going to go out there and play.
I
But
mean, it could have been that too. Could have been that too. But yeah, he came out. He came out just on fire. I mean, and the Philly defense had no answer. Did they stop them in the second half?
I don't think they did.
Was there even a punt? Yeah, the Philly defense was the biggest letdown to me in the game for the entire game. I mean, and how well, I mean, the offensive line, the Chiefs' offensive line in this Super Bowl compared to the last Super Bowl appearance they had, night and day. Am I right?
Yeah.
I mean, just
Did
completely.
was there any? There was zero sacks, right? I mean, other than the fumble, Hurts fumble, was there a sack?
I don't think so. I'm the line has a lot to do with that too. The revamped lines, and of course the Eagles line. But I think the turf had a lot to do with that too. I
Yeah.
heard
Seen a bunch of people slipping.
yeah, I heard one. I heard, oh gosh, I heard one guy. I can't remember his name. Uh, get on and talk about it. He was like, and he was a lineman. He was like, as an offensive lineman, you love that because the defensive players, the defensive lineman, can't get off the ball, and that gives the receivers a huge advantage too. I mean, because the defense can't get off the ball. I mean, defense players can't get off the ball, can't make cuts. You know, anticipate where they're going is what I mean. They can, but they can't react accordingly. So you're gonna if you like offense, that's a good thing to see. But yeah, that's pretty embarrassing for a Super
Yeah,
Bowl to have field conditions like that.
man, they had what? They had more than 2 weeks to prep that field. I mean, how the hell do you roll it in? Because that's one of the ones that they have on the track system where they roll it out, to get natural sunlight. How the hell do you get it soaked up with water and roll it back in?
Well, apparently players have been griping about that all season. It's it's been an issue all season, uh, according to other players. But yeah, I didn't watch many Arizona games, especially this season. Wasn't a whole
No.
lot of fun to watch, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's pretty
If I was the
embarrassing for a
Cardinals,
Super
I'd be
Bowl.
saying that too. Oh yeah, that's why we kept losing. It's the turf.
If you're Cliff at least or Kyler, right?
Yeah. So he don't care. He gone.
Yeah, and well, they did hire the Eagles defensive coordinator as their head coach. Colts hired
Yeah.
the Eagles offensive coordinator. Both like some mid to late 30s guys, like they're
Yeah. They
around
lost
our
both
age.
of them within like an hour, right?
I think so. I mean, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
But how would you grade the Super Bowl overall if you're going to give it a grade? Let's go with that.
Ah, an A minus. I mean, it can't be an A because of the penalty at the end, but I give it an A minus.
I'm giving it a hard B. I'm dropping it a whole
A
ass
hard
letter,
B. Yeah,
a
he
whole
man.
letter for that call at the end. and people are pretty divided on it. Like it's a lot of people say. I mean, yeah, it's a penalty. If it's a penalty, you throw the flag, no matter when it
But
is
if
in the game.
I mean, they say that, but hell, you could. I mean, if you're a ref, you could technically throw a flag on every play for holding because at some point, offensive line's holding somebody. Like I don't know.
See,
It's one of those things. You could throw it if you wanted to, because technically, yeah, there's holding going on every single play, but you
well
choose not to because it doesn't affect it.
in basketball they say like I mean they swallow their whistle in the last few minutes of the game because they don't want to decide the game. I My thoughts on that is essentially, if comparing it to football anyway, throw the flag if there's a penalty. You don't have to adopt that mindset. Throw the flag if there's a penalty, or if there's a penalty. But the difference here in this situation, to me, there was not enough there
No,
to
didn't
warrant
affect him at all.
to warrant a flag and essentially end the game in the Chiefs' favor.
Yeah, didn't
Like you,
really hinder the receivers route, and I mean, hell, he overthrew him anyways.
well, he wasn't going to catch it anyway. But it
And
was.
Juju's still going to get on online and talk shit, which is hilarious. You see his Valentine card that he sent out?
I did not. What did it say?
Um, something about uh I'll hold you when you're needed or something like that, and it was a picture of what's his name who got called on the holding penalty on that last play. Yeah, it was.
Bradbury. Yeah, Bradbury. The point is, we're talking about this. We're talking about it, and we shouldn't be.
Yeah,
And
I have no
that's the
problem with
annoying.
it if you would have called. Yeah, like what you're saying, if you had called it like that the whole game, yeah, throw the flag. But you're gonna change the rules up in the last. I mean, you're gonna change up the way you're calling the game in the last minute and a half. No.
Yeah, it was frustrating. But kind of back to my point earlier, where I had a full on just a mind fart there. I mean, just I don't know. Jalen Hurts is he's shown that he's shown he can play quarterback in this league, right?
Yeah.
At a high level, not just I mean, he won them games. He would have been the MVP easily had the Eagles won. I mean, apart
I
from
thought
that,
he was gonna get it, even though they lost. I mean,
well, Mahomes was really good too. I mean, he made throws, and I still don't know how Travis Kelsey gets
it
that
keeps getting
open.
open.
I know we touched up on it last week, like he's just that good. But I mean, come on, like you got to do something to figure
Yeah.
something out to not let that guy beat you. It's it's weird. That shouldn't happen for him to get that open. But and I realize like a lot of these players, you saw it with Georgia, you saw it with the Georgia national championship team this past season. After the game, everybody had us like 5, 6 wins, and nobody gave us a shot. And I'm like, who? No, who are you listening to? Nobody's saying that. No, nobody has said that. Nobody with any sense, anyway, that you should be taken seriously. And I bring that up because Kelsey's getting on there like nobody picked us. Nobody picked it. Nobody gave us a shot.
It's like,
What
man, it's
the
practically a pickle moan.
what
It's
are
like,
you
come on.
talking about? Like you were the number one seed. You're a Hall of Fame tight end. You got a Hall of Fame quarterback, a Hall of Fame coach. You're always going to have a shot. You're going to have a shot for the foreseeable future. Andy
Yeah.
Reid coming back, by the way. I mean, the Chiefs are probably going to be the favorites for the next several years,
Yeah.
at least according to Vegas.
Yeah, I heard Coach Reed celebrated with a pizza and salad
That's
rather
what's
than a
up.
cheeseburger. So good change up.
I had pizza, by the way, for the game. I was just
Yeah,
it
I
was
did. I
US
did too.
it was US pizza. I was very disappointed in it. That you could tell they were in a rush. They just half the pizza had a good amount of cheese on it. The other half it was like the most thin layer imaginable, very little sauce, very hard crust. Of course, I'm dealing with a temporary crown right now until my new one comes
Yep.
in next month. So I'm sitting here chewing on one side of my face with the hardest pizza crust ever. So very disappointed in US Pizza and Cabot for that. But it's all right. Um, yeah, hard B score for the Super Bowl. Going back to Kelsey though, I mean, it's I don't know. I loved him cutting promos on the Cincinnati Mayor and stuff. You know, after the AFC Championship game, like loved it.
Yeah.
Dude's setting himself up for a full on WWE career when he's done playing, if he ever wanted to do that, or just go get a chunk of money to go do one WrestleMania match.
Yep.
But yeah, this I don't. He's clearly just fabricating some motivation, just creating something. I guess you got to do that if you're a player sometimes, at least in this case. But all right, anything change as far as ranking Kelsey amongst the tight ends, all time greats? I mean, yeah, this
No,
obviously just ups his resume some, but
I mean, he's still behind Gronk. I mean, he's good, but maybe one more ring, I might change my tune. But I don't know, man.
he's in the discussion. He's in the discussion, but to me, he just yeah, he's in that top five. He's a top five tight end for sure.
Top five. You ain't even saying top three. You're saying top five, huh?
I'm saying top five. I mean, come on, dude. Tony Gonzalez was really good.
Yeah,
Like I don't even know he was the best chief, like Travis Kelsey. Like people forget how good Tony Gonzalez was.
he good.
I didn't see Kellen Winslow play, but I've seen some clips, heard a lot of good things. Uh, Antonio Gates. I mean, come on, let's not forget how good that guy was for
Yeah.
so many years. Obviously Gronk, Shannon Sharp could play. It's, but I Kelsey's in there to me. I mean, he's top five. Where exactly? I don't know, but am I ready to say he's better than Tony Gonzalez? You know, I don't know about that. It's close. I mean, it's definitely close, but
So what do you think about people saying that with this win that Mahomes, I think Mahomes can, maybe come close to Brady's record, the 7 rings.
yeah, it's way too early for that. I don't think Andy
I
Reid
don't
is going to be around for
I
that
mean he's
long. You know,
yeah.
coaching. I mean, uh, but he did say he's coming back. You know, he did say he's coming back, and why would you not with that? Imagine if that coaching job came open. I mean, that is it's got to be like the best coaching job ever open up in any sport, pretty much, at least football, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's I mean, as long as they have Andy Reid, though, they got a chance. I think
Like that's
he
a pretty tall order though with I mean, especially you got Burrow and Allen and I mean Hurts. It's just a lot of talent, man, at that position right now. It, I don't know, man.
here's the thing though, the Eagles aren't going to be as good. They're not going to be able to bring all those guys back.
No.
Uh, they're still going to be really good. But I don't think they're going to be able to. They're not going to be able to bring all those guys back. I don't think Kansas City's going anywhere. If anything, they may improve. You know, um, but Cincinnati's coming. Uh, Buffalo's still going to be in the mix. Jacksonville is coming though too. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
they are coming. I mean, give them another few years. That's going to be really interesting in the AFC.
Hell, maybe just one more year. Like,
I mean, they competed with them this year, right? I
hmm
mean, granted, Mahomes was hurt, but I mean, yeah, it's they were night and day compared to last year. Worst roster in the league last year, uh, and to see what they did this year, they're all obviously, and Trevor Lawrence is only going to get better. Um, I'm still tripping out over like Travis Kelsey. Just the you can give it. Nobody picked us, and like, dude, you're not the Detroit Lions. You know, I can understand why they would get on there and say that repeatedly.
yeah, you bring up a good point. I could see Kelsey doing the WWE thing and, possibly getting his brother. That could be a good tag team. The Kels brothers, man. Think about that.
Yeah, I don't know about Jason's mic skills though. I mean, I could see Travis kind of being the star there.
He could be the strong, silent partner.
He could be like the enforcer guy. Gosh, that man, he lit. You could see why he was the best center. He's been the best center in the league for years now. I
Yeah,
mean, some of those pulling plays where he's just
pulling clean.
annihilating
Yeah, clean
some
people's
of the
clock, man.
some of those Chiefs. But one was a linebacker. Like one, it wasn't a defensive back. You know, there was a 5 at the front of the jersey of the number, and he just leveled him. I mean, leveled him on a pulling play. Dude is like, I guess it's just like I wouldn't look at the guy necessarily and think. Now, granted, he's out there with bigger guys, and you're not standing next to him,
Yeah.
but he doesn't look like just this annihilating force of a center, but he is that 100%. All right, any okay, the halftime show. What'd you think of that?
It's like what I told my coworker. I was like, "Hey, I don't remember Rihanna being so thick." But yeah, it was good. I was amazed
Well,
at those
she was
people
thick,
dancing
thick.
on those floating platforms.
Yeah, I mean, she was thick like in the uterus. That was pretty much
Yeah, yeah.
it.
Well, that's yeah. I
Uh,
didn't want to say yeah. I didn't want to ask if she had gained weight because figured the females would have a issue with that. You calling her fat? Calling her out fat?
well, I mean, yeah,
So
like in the uterus, she's gained some weight, but she's
yeah,
pregnant. But still hot though. Still hot. Still very talented. Uh, nothing special. It was a like a it was good, but nothing impressive.
apparently more people watched it than the Super Bowl, which I don't know where they get those numbers, but
That doesn't really surprise me though. I mean, because you got a lot of non-football fans that'll tune in just for that. So I could see that.
dang
Like
football game getting in the way of their commercials.
yeah, and the commercials like the none were good. Like I don't think I laughed really at all at any of them. It's basically just a bunch of cameos now. It's like how many celebrities can we fit into this one commercial?
Yeah.
Uh,
Do you like any of the new movie trailers that dropped?
I was in when I saw Indiana Jones, I was like, okay. But then I have like this Crystal Skulls one going
Yeah,
into my head,
flashback of Crystal Skulls. Yeah,
so that scares me a little bit. I was not a fan of that one.
yeah.
What were some of the others? I can't even remember the others.
Um, the well, I guess the other big two for me were new Guardians trailer dropped, which I mean,
I didn't even
I don't
see
know. I
that.
like the Guardians. It looks pretty good. And the new Flash
Okay,
dropped.
I
Did you see
remember
that
that
one?
one.
I
Yeah, it
was,
got Keaton
I'm
as
not a fan of
Batman.
Flash, but yeah, I was like, oh man, I really want to see this now. So,
Yeah, I would watch it. I liked the Flash.
I mean, I didn't say
Uh,
I didn't like him, but wouldn't necessarily run out and go see his standalone movie.
yeah, that's
Having
fair.
Batman in this one will, definitely going to pull in a bigger crowd.
Yeah, well, and Keaton is Batman too, right?
Yeah.
Like that's the cool part. Who was the other guy in it? Wasn't there another superhero figure in there? Was it Superman or something?
Supergirl apparently.
Okay. I mean, hey, whatever works, right?
Yeah, they're gonna try and do their own multiverse thing, I think. But
I mean, why not? They make money. But okay. All right, so yeah, football season's over. So I guess we're gonna
nuh-uh,
talk about
XFL starts up this weekend, son.
well, USFL too is coming up soon. But I haven't watched like I did watch some of the XFL when it came out that season right before COVID hit. They had like one really good team,
Yeah.
but I wasn't like glued to the TV at all
You
during
still have
those.
your original XFL t-shirt?
Of course not. like for what
What
from
what team was it? The
2000?
Outlaws? What team
Dude,
was it? Was it the Outlaws?
I don't remember. How do you
Oh, okay.
remember?
Because you're like the only person in town that had an XFL shirt.
No, I was not the only person in town. I was amongst like our group of friends, sure. I remember a couple other people having it. It was a free shirt. I mean, why not? Why not rock that?
I wasn't hating on it.
Plus,
It's
I had
just
no sense of style in ninth grade or 10th
I, s-
grade.
I still don't.
Yeah, I say I still don't, but it was really bad then. Uh, I mean, you wore whatever you had. It's like,
Yeah.
sure, I'll wear this shirt. I don't even know where they play, but might have been like a Chris Jakuma's team, like a Chuck Wagon and the He Hate Me thing. Might have been that team.
Ah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, I forgot all about He Hate Me.
Yeah.
Uh,
Um, my dog is trying to crawl under here, the worst possible spot he could go. So yeah, this will be fun for the next 8 minutes. All right, here we go. Okay, so yeah, fun football season. I don't know that I'll tune into much of the XFL or USFL, or I might like week one or something. But by then, I'm sure I'll have more stuff to do. And yeah, it's a lot. I mean, you're gonna have some really good basketball games on too.
yeah.
So
Hog baseball starting up this weekend. That'll be
yeah, Hog baseball playing like a bunch of Big 12 teams, right? Texas, Oklahoma State. Should be. I don't know if any of it's going to be televised, but it's not good that
yeah.
they're missing a starter, right? Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, that was a bit of bad news. Came out last weekend. Or
Yeah,
no, it was before last weekend, but yeah.
that was that's rough if you're a Hog fan.
Been
Somebody
getting
else,
yeah, been getting bit a lot by the injury bug on all sports,
right?
seems like.
It was good to see jumping to basketball real quick. It was good to see Nick Smith come back.
Yep.
In last Saturday's game, Hogs play tomorrow night, by the way, at Texas A&M, I believe. So I'll definitely tune into that. Texas A&M second in the SEC right now, a 10-2 SEC record. Maybe we'll have to get some more magic tomorrow night. Hogs beat them at home a couple of weeks ago, whenever it was. We'll
I
see what
still can't
happens
believe
there.
we lost to state, man.
I can,
I wasn't expecting that, but
I
they are
can,
a
and
hot team right now. So
well, here's why. I mean that's an elite defense. They were defensively. That's an elite defense against the offensively challenged team. We just That's a bad matchup for Arkansas. And on top of that, you're integrating Nick Smith back into the lineup. I'm not going to say at all they're a weaker team with him on the floor,
nope.
but but
Takes a
it's
while to
not.
gel, man.
Yeah, it messed up the chemistry. Like they're not. He's not used to being out there with these guys,
Hmm.
so you weren't going to you didn't have the same team. But if you're going to put him out there, and let's get that out of the way. Let's get that part out of the way and get reacclimated. Go ahead and put him out there and do that. Have no problem with Muss doing that.
Yeah,
Anthony Black though was really the only bright spot that game.
yeah.
Devo was that's the worst game I've seen him play in a while.
Man, that one shot he threw up like real quick and just straight up airballed it. I'm like, oh
Yeah, from
man.
like Steph range.
Yeah.
I was like, and I never wanted to see him ever shoot a three.
Man, I thought for a second there that council reverse dunk was gonna, put us over that hump, but man, every time it seemed like we were about to get back into it, we'd throw the ball away or yeah, miss dribble or just take a terrible ass shot. But
Yeah,
whatever, can't do anything about it now. So I think we'll still make the tournament.
it's not an easy schedule the rest of the
No,
way, so
it's
we're gonna
not.
see. We'll see what happens. But they were an 8 seed before the loss, so they may be a 10 or so now. But we'll see how it plays out, of course. All right, so last week, basically right after we got done with the show, LeBron James decided to go ahead and break the scoring record that
Yep.
night. Just had a monster third quarter, put up 38 in the win. Long, obviously, delay, and it was cool. It was a little long, but at the same time, it's a big deal. I get it. Lakers aren't that relevant this year. Better than they were. They did finally trade Westbrook, so good for good for them. But
How about all them trades at the deadline?
that was a lot,
Dear
right?
God, yeah. And then
Obviously the
KD gets traded while everybody's sleeping. Come on.
obviously the big one, Durant to the Suns, and the Suns really didn't have to give anybody up. You know, I mean they did, but they didn't. You got to keep Booker, you got to keep Chris Paul. It's
So
I mean
CP3 is finally going to get that ring, right?
this is his best shot. I mean, if they can stay healthy, that's the thing. Can they stay healthy?
True.
Because Book has had a groin issue the last month. He's back though. KD won't be back till after the All Star break, which is coming up. Hopefully, All Star Weekend will be better this year as opposed to last year. I believe that's this weekend, right? All Star Weekend.
Is it?
I think so. Dunk contest was awful last year. 3-point contest was all right, and the game All Star game itself, I missed it, but it was very high scoring as usual. It's the best All Star game of the pro sports All Star game. So
Apparently, the old Greek freak's going to be in the dunk contest this year.
I'll tune in for that.
Yeah, should be pretty good.
Yeah, yeah, I'll definitely tune in for that. Other news: Derek Carr gets released by the Raiders. After essentially he wouldn't waive his no trade clause, and of course they cut him before they have to pay him $40 million.
Didn't Aaron?
Anywhere you'd like to see him land? Apparently the Packers are or excuse me, Saints are interested, Panthers are interested,
I
just to
heard the
name a couple.
Saints, man. Saints was the first team I heard about. That makes a lot of sense to me. I mean,
With Sean Payton there, he's not there
yeah,
anymore though.
it's better than what they got, right? I mean, they've got Jameis and the Red Rocket.
Yeah, I mean it's which I mean Andy Dalton played okay, but yeah,
Yeah,
I'd take Carr over that. But I wouldn't.
I mean they beat
That
the
wouldn't be
Eagles,
my
right?
that wouldn't be my number one spot unless Sean Payton's there. I'd almost look at Carolina before I did that, but yeah, but it's the NFL. NFL's a long season. You're gonna get an upset every now and then. Bucks did beat the Celtics tonight in overtime, 131 to 125. Wow, that's a huge game, man. Ended as we started the show essentially. But yeah, football season's over. Pretty much basketball now, baseball coming up. So transition, moving on to the round ball sports now. But we're gonna get out of here. It's been fun. Hell of a football season. Look forward to it again next year, or this year, I guess. Next season. But until then, yeah, lots of football or lots of basketball, baseball coming y'all's way. See y'all next week, next Tuesday. Deuces, y'all.
See ya.